Hello and welcome back. It is day 26. Welcome to Jessi Fit Pilates, your home to strengthen, stretch, and smile as we get fit, toned, and flexible. So day 26 of my 28-day challenge. We really only have one more day left because Sundays are a rest day. Today is a Friday, and that means it's a flexibility Friday. I got all kittied up for you. If you've been subscribed to my channel for a while, then you know I tend to get dressed up as a cat, or cat woman, just to make it fun. Today's workout is really going to be based on functional range conditioning, and it's mobility work, and I mean, maybe you find it different. It can be slightly boring because you have to hold stretches, and then you're doing really small movements in the hardest part of the stretch at your end range of motion. So it can be a little uncomfortable. So that's why I like to kind of doll it up for you a little bit and hopefully put a smile to your face, and hopefully not thinking about how torturous the stretch can feel. However, I will say that it has been something that has really, really changed my body for the better. I've done Pilates and yoga for a while, and it's almost like the missing link to unlocking my hips. And I know a lot of people suffer from tight hips, and this is really, it just feels great. When I do it consistently, I just feel really gooey in my hips. I don't have any back problems, I don't have any hip problems, and I came to it when I started having really bad knee and hip problems on one side, and it was just overuse stuff, and physical therapy didn't help me, but functional range conditioning did. So we're going to do a hip workout. It's going to be a hip flexor stretch at the end, but if you saw the challenge, I think it was, I forget what day it is off the top of my head, but I'll link it below, or I'll link it up there if you want to check out the other video, because if you're finding this one too advanced, the other one, it's based on 1990. I will say, if you have a block, some of these exercises, if you're really struggling a block or a pillow, you can really do a lot of the 1990s kind of in a chair. With that being said, let's get started. So you really don't need any equipment. You might like a block for some of the moves, especially if you're kind of new to this stuff. Let's go ahead and start on all fours. And you can just do a quick cat-cow, right? So let's just curl the tailbone under. You have to when you're wearing a kitty leopard outfit. And I'm really just stretching up. And I find a lot of people like to send their weight into their legs or their hands. So really just make sure you're even between the two. I don't know if you saw that, I was really in my legs. And then arch your spine. I'm going to start my tailbone. Keeping my arms straight, dropping my belly, lifting my chest, opening wide, and then tucking my tailbone, lifting up through my lower back, and then dropping my head down, really stretching through my arms. I'm going to do one more like that, starting at the tail. And you can do these from the head up, and from the head I just think it's really hard. I don't like to open the back. And dropping into the tail. And coming back. And I'm going to drop down to the elbows for these, and I'm going to bring my feet together. I'm just going to do a few hip circles. Right, just kind of warming us up before I send us right into 90-90. Keeping both elbows onto the mat, and then keeping my hips as still as I can. And the big thing is as I'm circling, I don't want to turn my hips out and then other direction. Just loosening up the joint a bit. Deep breaths. Last one. And then I'll flip to the other side just so you can see that. And we'll take the other leg out and around. Right into the chest, out towards you, and right. And one side might feel really different than the other side. And I'm just keeping my tailbone down. I don't know if you can see that, reaching back. So it's not going from side to side. One more, and then the correction. And I'm trying to keep my knee at one angle. And I said try. I might not be doing that the whole time. Maybe go a little easy on yourself. It is day 26. You might be a little sore, especially if you're not used to working out. Awesome. And then let's go ahead and we'll do a quick knee stretch, right? Knee cars. So I'm gonna come into just a little bit of a butterfly today. I think I did bear earlier. You can do bear if that feels good. Bear is generally gonna be a little harder. And you can just stretch out and in a few times. And then we'll do the circle. So turn out, right? Up, turn in, down. So I'm rotating that knee out, in, down, again, out, in, and now other direction. So it's in, take it up, out, down, right? Rotating in, up, out, down. Right? That internal rotation I get to do a lot of in Pilates or in yoga. And take a quick out here. So with FRC, that was really one of the first times I was forced to do a lot of internal rotation, and if you really felt that, you're gonna really feel it. There aren't a lot of sports even that do a lot of internal rotation, but it might not feel natural, but it is something that your body is designed to do. Right, just take it up and down, and I'm keeping it parallel on that first one. The big thing here is that I'm not moving the knee, right? Like if I was to drop the knee, I can go the whole way straight, but if I keep the knee here, it's probably not good. This is my other side as well. Now I'm going to turn it out, up, turn it in, down, right? So that whole shin out, up, in, down, out, up. And then reverse, staying really tall, in, up, down, in, up, down. One more time. And then from here, I'm going to come right into my 90. And you can fix my sock, otherwise it looks silly if I only got one sock on. And I'm going to come to my 90-90 position. And today we're going to do a little bit more of kinetic stretching, which is just a fancy way of coming in, saying you're coming in and out. It'll feel, the kinetic stretching in FRC feels a lot like Pilates to me, where you're in a funny position and you're doing an exercise in a really strict, controlled manner, and you're holding it. That's why it feels like Pilates to me, and I think they really work great together. So here I am in my 90-90. Remember, you can be sitting on a block or a pillow, anything that will kind of hang your legs low. Even sitting on a chair, like if you're sitting on a chair, as long as your hips are higher than your knees, if you need a little more range there. And then from here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start to, hopefully with my arms up, you can keep the hands here. I'm going to come down, keeping my spine in a very neutral position, hold it. And so I'm starting to do almost like a deadlift kind of position, if you know what that is, or a hinge. And then you can play with the hold times, right? You can hold through 1, 2, 3. And of course your hands can be down on your sides. But this would be a little harder. You can also be here. Let's do a few more. And I'm pressing both feet down. And I feel that, you know, in my hips. It might cramp. It might cramp a lot. One more time. And I'm exhaling as I go down. And then inhaling as I come up. And now on this side, you can't like lean into it. This side, what we're gonna do is we're gonna rotate our spine. Now, see the way I have my hands here, and you can also even have a block. If you're really struggling, blocks here. So, because you do want your spine tall. Have your blocks there. Really flexible people will have their hands, their feet, like for me, it's even challenging for me to do that. So I wouldn't know, work at your own pace. I think for me right here, it's gonna feel good. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go twist in and hold. And I'm really pressing all that to the floor. And then I'm coming in, hold. And I'm gonna really try to stay tall. And twist, untwist, twist, hold, untwist. Exhale. Inhale, a few more. Right, really creating more space in your hips. Exhale. One more time. And now from here, I think going to try to keep my hands on the floor. You're always welcome to go here. That's going to make it much, much harder, but I'm going to be able to keep my spine tall, and I really do want you to do that. We're going to do some rotations, and that means I'm going to keep this knee on the floor and lift the foot. Now, if it's your first time doing it, I don't know if you can see that, but it's tiny. You might not go very far. This is definitely probably not my stronger side for this exercise. And then release. Right, we're not lifting the whole leg, just that lift, lower, right? Small, tiny, weird movements. FRC, Pilates, and down, and lift, and down. And I mean, technically it should be here, but I mean, a lot of these moves, you're just gonna feel a lot of different places. So I hesitate to say you should feel that here, you know, as long as you're not feeling pain, you're good. And we're gonna do something similar here. So the knee stays down, and then on this side, I have a lot more range of motion, right? So maybe I can twist into it a little bit more, and that'll kind of make it harder. So there's always a way to adjust it, easier or harder. You can also be laying down here. I should have said that on the other leg. But you can also come way down here, and that'll make either one of these way more available. A few more like that, and I'm giving it a slight hold at the top, right? Lifting it up, holding it, lifting and holding, lifting and holding. Awesome. And from here, we're going to go into the other side. So here's how I'm going to slide down. You can take your hands up to make it harder, but I'm going to slide that knee through, and I'm going to rotate it out, and I'm going to come into my diamond. We can do a quick cat-cow here. One more time. And we're going to go right to the other side. And you can always use your hands. Remember, if you take your legs out here, it's going to be a lot harder than if you have your legs in here. Technically, I mean, it is 90-90. You want to try to be as close to 90-90 as possible. For some of us, that may or may not be possible. Remember, you can sit on top of something. That'll make things a lot nicer. Make sure that this knee is kind of hanging down below the hip. That'll probably help a lot if you're having trouble getting into there. So just like before, I think this side's gonna be a little harder for me. You can have the hands up or the hands down. I'm gonna do it with the hands up. We're gonna come down, hold it, right? Like you're flying. Keeping that spine as neutral as I can. Exhale, take it down. And down. And then go ahead and sit up super tall. Draw your belly muscles in. And let's go ahead and twist back. Remember, you want to try to stay as tall as you can. You can have your hands back. Remember, you can always use the block. Or you can try to have the hands somewhere on the thigh or the leg or the hip. And we're going to twist, hold, release. Exhale, twist, hold, release. Twist, hold, release. Staying as tall as you can, drawing my abs in. Hands can be wherever you need them to be. 2 more times. Holding it, and then go ahead and take the hands back. Sit up as tall as you can. Come back and face that front leg, and we're gonna go into some lifts. So keep that knee down, lift the foot, and notice you might not even really lift it. It'll be somewhere in the hip. It feels a little different on this leg than it did feel on the other leg. Lift, lower. Sitting up as tall as I can. Really feel it. Exhale on the up. Inhale. Try to hold it up there. Hold. Keeping the knee down, just raising the heel. 2 more. 1 more. Yowza. Remember, you can always come down onto the elbow and then go ahead and come back, facing that back knee, sitting up tall. And now lifting up the foot, lower. Staying as tall as you can. And it's just a minuscule, small lift. Heel just comes up a little bit, releases a little bit, a little bit. Two more. Awesome. Come up as high as you can. And now from here, we're gonna go into the lunges. So first, let's come back into the diamond. I'm gonna do the first side first. You can always use, so that's like a bar, you can always use a wall, a chair, if you need something to kind of hold or balance on. You can also stack something up underneath your knee. I know some people might have a knee that's sensitive. I'm gonna have my hands right on my knee, and I'm gonna try to get a stretch here. So you can play around with the positioning, but we do wanna try to keep this hip square. And then I'm gonna engage this glute so that I feel the stretch in the hip. And we're just gonna hold here and just let that get a nice opening. And you can play around with the depth. So for me, going back a little bit is feeling good, like I can get a deeper stretch. And I'm just gently sort of driving the knee in. Not enough to hurt it, but just enough. I'm getting a bit of an opening through that hip. And dig deep. I know this is the muscle that I really get a lot of spasms and stuff, and we're gonna hold for just another few breaths. And then we're gonna do some drills with the back leg. Maybe take a few circles here. Other direction. Gently pressing the knee down. Now, my back foot, I'm gonna lift it, and I'm gonna try to keep this open hip. Hold it, release. Lift it, and what that does is strengthening the back of the leg. So a lot of us have a little bit of an imbalance there. Just keeping that hip nice and strong on all sides. And really with this workout, work and punch 4 angles of your hip. The hip is it's a ball and socket. There's a lot of different movements it can do. And a lot of times we're not training all of the movements. A few more like that. Let's go ahead and lift it. Hold. Release. Left. Right, I'm trying to get it as close to my butt as I can. Now remember, you can always hold something, hold it. And I'm gonna give it a big stretch here for a few seconds. Really feeling that deep. Now I'm gonna let it go and try to hold it. And I'm gonna do a few like that. All right, big stretch, maybe get a little deeper this time. Let it go for a few seconds. Keep trying to draw it in with the back of my leg. And see, maybe make it a little deeper now. You see how kind of gets you to get the stretches deeper now. Let it go. Big hold, right? I really feel in that area. Big stretch. Let it go, really squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. One more time. Big stretch. And then you'll see how much more range I have. Okay, I'm gonna let that go, and I'm gonna switch it to the other side. So find your stretch here. It might be a little different. This side, I think, will definitely not be as tight, but for me, it also won't be as strong. So you might see me really struggling to keep towards the end to keep my foot. So I'm just gonna find that right spot for me, and then really square off. And your front foot's kind of pushing in, and I have both hands in. Or you can be holding a wall or a chair. And then I'm gonna really, for me, I have to kind of start to tilt just to feel a stretch. And remember, everybody will look a little different in this position. Try to keep the shoulders off your ears. I'm pushing into all 10 toes. I'm driving that back knee down at this point now, just to get even a deeper stretch. That hurts so good, kind of a feeling. Take another deep breath in. And we're gonna start by lifting that back foot, holding it, getting it as close as you can, releasing. Again, lifting, holding, releasing. Lifting, holding, releasing. Try to stay as tall as I can, trying to get that heel all the way to my bottom. As you can see, the side's definitely a little harder for me. Right, really squeeze it, squeeze it, squeeze it. Release. Squeeze, 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 and release. Abs in, squeeze, hold. And then on this one, I'm gonna take a hold. And I'm gonna let it go and try to hold it 2 seconds. And then take a hold. Hold it. And take a hold. Hold it. 2 more times. All right, maybe getting a little deeper into that stretch now. Really try to hold it all the way. Take a hold of it. 1 more time. And take a hold. Let that go. And now I'm going to come and face you. And I'm going to come into a little bit of a side stretch position. And I'm just going to stretch up for a second. I'm going to do a few rotations with this. So I'm going to rotate that up, and I'm going to try to keep my hips facing you. Down. Up. And all the way up. All the way down. All the way up. Right? And then all the way in. Now all the way up. In. And then I'm going to take it in so much the heel comes up. Right? Externally rotate. Down. Up. Neutral. Externally rotate. In. Up. Neutral. Up. And then take it back to neutral. Take your hands down. And let's just go back and forth a few times. And then I'm going to take my opposite hand and just slide it under and up a few times, keeping this as still as I can. And I'm just going a little deeper each time as I get through it. And I'm going to switch sides. Slide the foot out. So hips are going to face forward. Neutral would be about here. And I'm going to rotate it out, external rotation, keeping the knee really straight. Neutral. And it should be a stretch in the inner thighs. Neutral. And you know, it's just that this is all staying here. Now from here, up, right? The heel going up. So that's internal rotation, external rotation, neutral, internal rotation, neutral. Right? Full range of motion on the hip today. neutral, in and out, neutral, in. And then go ahead and take your hands down. Keep the foot neutral, planted down to the floor. You can rock back and forth a few times. And then opposite hand, under, up, and then each time I go under, and slowly come on out. And I am so excited. My hips actually feel great. I hope you've enjoyed the challenge so far. If it's your first time here, make sure you subscribe. And this was day 26 of my 28-day challenge. Tomorrow, if you're tuning in live, if you are on February 26th, 2021, then tomorrow I will be live, and it's one you don't want to miss. I will be in cosplay, and it's probably the most watched character on all of my channels, on Instagram, on here on YouTube, and now on TikTok. She's really the most watched character I've ever done. Nothing seems to stop her, so she will be out tomorrow. If you miss her, she'll be right on the playlist right after this, so make sure you subscribe and then check out the playlist below. I'm so excited you're here, and make sure you check out my website and the blog. There's lots of fun stuff there. I pretty much post every week, and I'd love to know what you think, and I'm always up for requests, so comment below and let me know what you want to see next, and I'd love to create it for you. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.